Hello and welcome to the Abundantly Favored podcast, where faith meets mindset, gratitude fuels growth, and your words shape your world. We're your hosts, Jenny and Shelley, two sisters, wives, moms, and lifelong encouragers who believe God has richly equipped you to live an abundant life.
Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, faith, purpose, and the power of speaking life. Whether you're in the car, on a walk, or curled up with coffee, consider this your weekly dose of encouragement.
Abundantly favored, walking in grace, carried by mercy, held in His place. Abundantly favored, chosen and free, overflowing with love for all to see.
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome back.
Oh my
I'm so
gosh.
excited to see everyone.
Yes. Okay. Is
Well, I
anyone
guess we
else
can't
singing?
see you, but
Okay. Shelley. Okay. Is anyone else singing along to that abundantly favored? Like,
oh,
I just
love
can't
it.
stop singing. So if that's the case, we have to give a shout out again to our quote unquote brother Will, who wrote that song for us. So to find that song, it might be in the show notes. I don't know if Shelley does all of that. So if it's not, sorry, but we're going to tell you
It
exactly
should
where to
be.
find it. Awesome. So if you go to any of your streaming platforms, you want to search for In the Whispers, and the album is Tremblefield Psalms, or you can just search Abundantly Favored by In the Whispers, and you can download it. And that whole
Yes,
album is amazing. So I
it
highly
is
recommend it.
awesome. It's on
Yes.
repeat all of the time. We
I
love
know.
it.
I love it.
Shout out to our brother Will.
Yes.
Good job, Will. All right, we will go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with our Bible verse. It is from Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us.
Okay, this is going to be good. I'm
This
so excited for
is,
this
I love
episode.
this. I can't wait.
I know. Okay. So, question for you guys. Have you ever looked back on your life and realized some of the best things that happened were things you never could have planned? Maybe the right person showed up. Maybe a door opened unexpectedly, or one conversation changed everything. Maybe even a difficult season led to growth that you didn't see coming. You know, and I think a lot of times as women, we often spend so much time managing, planning, worrying, trying to control the outcomes, guilty, that we
Guilty
leave, yeah,
also.
and we leave very little room, I should say, for God to surprise us. Well, today's episode is built all around a prayer that we both love, and it's called, all you do, this is your prayer, you just say, God, blow my mind. Isn't that so
Yes,
cool? It gives me chills.
I
And
know
and
it.
it's not because we're asking for perfection or instant answers, but because we want to stay open to all the ways God is working that are bigger than our plans, which really blows our mind. So God, blow my mind.
Does. Right. Sometimes we ask for too little, which we'll talk about. So
Uh-huh.
today we are going to be sharing 10 ways to make room for more. More peace, more joy, more purpose, more confidence, more faith, more of God. So we want to, number one, so there are 10 ways. The first one we want to talk about is make room by letting go of control. Ooh, this is a hard one. Okay.
Oh,
It's a hard one because if you're like us, most of us like having a plan,
I am
right?
Shelley. I'm a self-controlled or self-proclaimed control freak.
Yeah, yes, you are, but it serves you well. And
Thank you.
I'm a little bit of that too. But if we are honest, it's not that we just like having a plan. We like to be in charge of that plan, right? So sometimes our prayer looks like this: God, just please help me. Then immediately we begin outlining exactly how he should do it. Are you guilty of that? Like, God, please help me and make sure this happens and this happens and this happens, right?
That's
And
weird.
sometimes we are so, I know for me anyway, focused on one specific outcome that we really miss other opportunities that God might be placing in front of us. Okay. So, like, think about this. How many times in your life something didn't work out the way that you had hoped, and later you realized that it was actually a blessing? Like, who's that country singer that sings "Thank God for Unanswered Prayers"?
Oh, right.
You know that song?
God's greatest gifts is
I don't know.
That's not
Somebody, if you know, then you're listening to this, put it
okay.
in the
Time out.
comments.
That's not. Is that like Garth Brooks?
Is it Garth Brooks? I love Garth Brooks. I think it might be.
Okay.
I don't
If
know.
not,
Someone
sorry.
correct us. Yeah. So some discussion things to just kind of think about are, where is it that we might be trying to control the outcome? And what would it look like if we started to trust God more fully? Okay, so just think about those things. Where are you trying to control the outcome? And what would it maybe look like if we actually learn to trust God more fully? Okay. I know for me, there was a time when, I'm a teacher by day and I love being a teacher, but there was a time where I was like, there was another position kind of in the teacher world, but a little bit different, that I applied for and I interviewed for, and I really felt like it went really well,
Yeah.
but I didn't get it. And I was notified that I didn't get it via a very impersonal email, which
Oh, geez.
that's a whole nother thing. But I was so disappointed because I really felt like God brought all this, that I even heard about it and all of this. And so I was like thinking, oh, I'm going to get this because it went well. That God just kind of dropped this in my lap, but I didn't. And so I just still remember after I read that email, and I'll be honest, like I cried because I was like so disappointed. I really was up for this challenge. But I immediately, which I don't really even know how I had the wherewithal to do this, but I just said, your will be done. It wasn't meant to be. Something better is coming. And I was in the classroom for a few more years after that. And those few classes that I had after that were some of the most challenging classes behavior wise that I had to deal with, but some of the most rewarding times as well, because not only did I feel like I made an impact with some of these especially difficult kids, but they really taught me a lot about what it is to be patient, to be kind, to be loving, because I didn't always feel it. And so I feel like God was like, no, I know you think you want this opportunity, but I really need you to be here. And so it was a hard lesson to learn, but I have learned to just like, okay, it's great to ask. You want to ask. But if it doesn't end up going in that way, then thy will be done.
Yes. I love, Shelley, that you were able to take that situation, I'll call it, maybe, that's a bad word, but immediately finding out you didn't get the job, shedding some tears, and then just taking it to God. And that's fantastic. That's pretty amazing.
Well, that was a long time coming. I don't think I would have normally done that, to be honest. I mean, that was just showed growth, I think, on my part, that I was like, you know what, wasn't meant to be. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That is right. Because God knows what he's doing, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. So number 2, make room by expecting good things. So make room by expecting good things. I know there's so many times many people spend their lives preparing for disappointment. And I think people don't want to get their hopes up, right? Because I think a lot of times people will think, it's easier to expect I won't get it, so I won't be disappointed. It'll probably never happen. Things won't work out for me. We think we're protecting ourselves. But what if we're actually limiting ourselves by thinking that way? Eek. I mean, expectation is so powerful. And you guys, this doesn't mean pretending life's perfect. So it means, believing that God is good even when circumstances aren't. And really, as Christians, we should be some of the most hopeful people in the world, right?
Right.
Not because we know what will happen, but because we know who is walking with us, which
So
is
true, Jen.
so
true.
huge. So really, making room by expecting good things is really what we all want to be doing. So some things to think about. What are you expecting from the next 6 months of your life? Okay. And are your expectations rooted in faith or fear? And when I see these questions, I really think I really am a glass half full person. I try to be most of the time.
You are.
So for me, it's like, it's going to be good. Like God's going to blow my mind, right?
Right.
Obviously there's times when that fear creeps in, but I love it. When you're so focused on fear, there's no room for faith. So Have that
Ooh.
faith.
Say that again. When you're focused on
When you're so
fear.
focused on fear, there's no room for faith. So
Ooh,
ditch the
write that down.
fear and
Write that
focus
down,
on the
people.
faith. Hey, that's a t-shirt. That's a
That
t-shirt.
is a t-shirt. I love that. That is great. Oh my gosh, good stuff, Jen.
Yeah,
All
thanks.
right, number 3 of things you're making room for. You're going to make room by praying bigger prayers. Okay, so I don't know about you, but somewhere along the way, many of us just stop asking. Like we stop dreaming, we stop believing, not because God has changed, but maybe because disappointment has made us cautious. Can you relate to that? Like maybe
Mhm.
there was a prayer that wasn't answered that we hoped for, like when I had that job interview, right?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
maybe you've asked for something and you're just kind of tired of waiting because you're not really hearing anything. Okay. Or
Mhm.
maybe life just happened. But what if God wants us to come back and ask again? Not because he's forgotten, but because he wants a relationship with us. Have you ever thought of that?
Mhm.
Okay. And so something I want you guys to think about is, what prayer have you seen answered in a way that you never expected? Okay. I know for me in the book, I talk about this a little bit. Our Wait, Did I Say That book? There was a season in life where with all of my kids, I had some difficult pregnancies. I was on bed rest with all of them. And my last child, Molly, I was on bed rest with her for 7.5 weeks, and I ended up having her 6 weeks early. And by the grace of God, she was healthy, and I mean, she was in the NICU for a couple of weeks, but it was wonderful. But in the book, I talk about how I was so overcome with worry and stress because one, I was running out of sick days as a teacher. And so if you miss days and you don't have any sick days, it's huge chunks that you just don't get paid. Two, I wasn't supposed to worry because I was on bed rest for my blood pressure elevating. So, worry a lot, blood pressure is going to go up.
Not good.
Not good. I had 2 other little kids. Rich was coaching and teaching at the same time. We were just so strapped for money at that time that all I could do was sit and worry and worry and worry. And I talk about, I made like a worry journal, and now in hindsight, we know that's probably wasn't the, what you think about, you bring about. So I shouldn't have called it my worry journal, but I should have called it my give it to God journal or something like that. But what
Yeah.
I ended up doing is I just wrote down everything that was stressing me out and that I was worried about. And I just, one night I remember like literally, saying in my prayer, I just can't do it. Like, please take this stress away from me, God. I'm going to write down everything that's on my mind and please take care of it. Well, a month or 2 after I ended up having Molly, I went back and I was cleaning finally because I was on bed rest forever. And, husbands, they do the best they can, and little kids. But I found this journal and I looked through it and I started crossing off all of the things that God had taken care of that never came to fruition that I was worried about. And almost every single thing that I was worried about didn't happen. And so that just, talk about answered prayers. I didn't even know it was really a prayer at the time. It was just more of a, you take this, I can't do it. And so think about ways that you have had those prayers in your life answered that maybe you haven't even really thought about.
Yeah, that's so good, Shelley. Actually, you made me think of a more lighthearted pregnancy one for me. So when I was pregnant with Ava, she was due in mid-April of that year, 2006. And Chris, at the time, my hubby, was traveling a lot for work. He was going overseas. And I remember it was Valentine's Day. So pretty much 2 months before when she was due, and I was having pretty good Braxton Hicks contractions. And I knew Chris had a trip coming up. And my prayer was like, oh my gosh, God, I cannot have this baby now. Where typically if you're pregnant, it's like, that might be a little early, 2 months, but it's like, let's go, let's have this baby. But yeah, God answered that prayer.
Yes.
You made me think of it. It may not fit in there at all, but
No, it
was
does,
crazy.
because I think sometimes I think we have a lot of answered prayers that sometimes when the prayer is answered, we're just like, whew, good. And we move on. And I know I'm guilty of sometimes forgetting to say, hey, thank you for that. Like, oh my gosh, thank you. You just I have moved on to the next thing. So
Yes,
that's
you
a
don't
good reminder
address.
for me too, Jenny, to remember to thank him and reflect on those answered prayers.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, so number 4, make room by clearing out old stories that maybe you shouldn't be telling yourself. So one of the biggest things that limits us isn't our circumstances, it's the stories we keep repeating over and over in our head. Stories like, I'm too old, I'm not qualified, I'm not smart enough, nothing ever works out for me. Oh, it's just too late. Okay, the problem is when we repeat those stories long enough, they begin to feel like facts. Like we've talked about this before, your brain believes what you tell it. So be so conscious of what you are telling it. And this is where mindset and faith collide. I mean, think about that, you guys, right? God's truth and our self-talk are often saying different things, almost like, the good angel, bad angel on your shoulder, really.
Oh, true. Yes.
Right? So you just have to focus on that and really listen to the stories you're telling yourself. So make room for new positive stories that align with God's truth by clearing out the ones that don't. So we want the faith-based thoughts versus the fear-based thoughts. So some things to think about. Yeah. What story have you been telling yourself lately? And is that story helping move you forward or keeping you stuck? And I'm going to suggest that if you feel you're stuck, you really need to look at the story you're telling yourself over and over, because it could be that your brain's like, yeah, I'm just doing what you're telling me. And it's not what you should be telling it.
Right. So true, Jenny. So true. All right. Number 5, make room by becoming more aware. And we've kind of talked about this already, but sometimes God is already answering our prayers and we're simply not noticing, right? And I talked about this a little bit before. We become so focused on the next thing that we miss what's happening right now. And think about all of the ways that God shows up every day. I wanted us to start noticing these things more. Like maybe it's just encouragement from a friend, an unexpected opportunity, new people coming into your life that are bringing you joy. Maybe it's peace in a stressful situation. Maybe it's a conversation that you needed. Have you ever gone to the grocery store and all of a sudden you run into someone you haven't seen in a long time and you have the best little chit chat for, a few minutes and you're like, oh my gosh, I needed that. They are just a little ray of sunshine and I needed that. Right.
Yes.
Maybe you just need a reminder at just the right moment that you're on the right path. Okay. The challenge isn't always that God isn't working. Sometimes the challenge is that we're distracted and we miss it. Guilty, guilty, guilty. This is something I'm working on for sure.
Yes.
Right.
Me too.
So just be thinking about think about examples where maybe you're seeing God's little footprints in ordinary life.
Okay,
right?
Shelley, I have a story for this,
Yeah, go
actually.
ahead.
And I think it's more of a right place at the right time. So a few weeks back, or gosh, I'm terrible about judging time. Well, it was
4 years ago. No.
Yeah, not quite. So I was headed to the girls' state soccer tournament, and I stopped in the bathroom or stopped at a rest stop to go to the bathroom or a gas station. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the bathroom here because I know there's porta potties at the state soccer tournament, and I'd prefer to use a flush toilet, right?
Sure.
So call me weird, but So I went to the bathroom, and I knew someone else was in there, and it was in the bigger stall, and the door was kind of open, and I just went out to go wash my hands and get back on the road. And she's like, excuse me. And I'm like, yes, can I help you? She's like, will you come in here for a minute? I'm like, oh boy, what am I getting into here?
Oh boy. Yeah.
So this sweet woman, I think she was probably younger than I am or right around my age. I don't know. She had fallen in the stall, and she had, I don't know what, basically one of her feet didn't move. I'm having a hard time
no.
getting this out. So, and she had a cane. So she's like, I need help getting up. I'm heavy. Will you help stand behind me and help hoist me up? So I was like, oh my gosh, God, I know I'm supposed to be here helping this woman. Because typically, you go to a rest stop, it's like, you just keep your head down, you stay to yourself, whatever. But I was so thankful I was able to help her. So it took probably 30 seconds for me to slowly lift her. And she was right. She was not light, but God gave me the strength to be able to lift her and just help her up. And I had to kind of put my knee under her bum just to kind of help lift it up and kick one of the, yeah. So it was like, I was super thankful that I was able to help her and be in the right place at the right time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Jen.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually,
way to
I
go.
forgot about that until right now. So, yeah,
See, ordinary moments, paying attention to what God has in store for you.
that is right. Okay, so number 6, make room by taking small steps. Okay. I think we are in a society where it's like move, go fast, make it happen. But, many women, we're waiting until we feel ready, ready to start, ready to speak, ready to apply, ready to launch, ready to try. All of these things, we feel like we have to be ready. The problem, most of the time, the confidence actually comes after action, not before. Like, do it scared, right? Have you heard
Yes.
that, Shelley?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. So
So,
true.
and God rarely gives us the entire staircase all at once. He usually gives us one step at a time. And if we don't start, we're going to be just sitting there looking at that step,
Oh, I love that. That is
right?
so true. So
Yeah.
true.
So really it is, taking one step at a time is that taking small steps. Kind of like the thing, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Right.
So some things we want you to think about with this is what's one thing that you've been putting off?
Deep cleaning my house.
Ooh, okay. So Shelley, what's one small action you could take this week to help you move forward?
I am going to listen to a really great podcast
Oh.
or inspirational book or music and just make a list and get it done.
Awesome.
Because if I can distract myself with other things, I won't realize how torturous it is.
There you go, right?
But it isn't torturous, right? I have to look at the end game that it's going to feel great.
Yes.
It's
You
just
need
hard
to
when you have
eliminate-
all of your kids a lot of your kids who are like out of the house now, but their
Yeah.
stuff is still here. And so kids, if you're listening, please come get your stuff.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
All right. Okay. Number 7, make room by surrounding yourself with faith builders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it, the voices that surround you matter.
Yes.
Some people will inspire you to grow. Some will not. Others will convince you to stay small. And really, really stop and think about the people in your life. Like, who are some people that remind you of what's possible? Who maybe cheer you on to try something new? Like, you're thinking, well, I kind of want to start this. Stay away from the people who are like, yeah, but what about this? What about this? What about this? Not being encouraging, but they're just like looking at all of the negatives. Find the people who are like, oh my gosh, that sounds cool. Tell me more. Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Right?
Yes.
So that they remind you what's possible. And stay around people who encourage your faith. Like, if they want to do a change or do something different, well, that's so awesome. Have you prayed about it? What do you think God is telling you to do or leading you to? Who also, this kind of goes along with it, who points you back to God when you're struggling? Like if you are dealing with something, Jenny and I have talked a lot about this, how, from our early years of marriage to where we are now, for me, it'll be 30 years in November. And Jenny, for you guys, it'll be how many?
In March, it was 28.
Okay. So I think the key to longevity too with our marriages is we made sure, like Jenny has said before, she didn't want to hang out with people who were constantly bashing their spouse. And also, I think you need to, sometimes we do get annoyed with our spouses. I think that's just normal in human nature. But like, I have friends, if I would, quote unquote, vent to, they would just help me see the humor in some of it. And like they would just laugh with me like, oh my gosh, I get it. And we'd move on because they know our husbands are good people. But then you have other people who are like, oh, well, are you going to stay together? And you're like, what? Like, of course we are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, surround yourself with the right people who get it, that like, of course you're going to get a little annoyed now and then, not with ours, right? They're perfect because they'll be listening. But
They are. Yes.
so just keep that in mind. So also, remind yourself who is someone who is reminding you things will work out, and who is someone who is reminding you that things aren't going to work. Like, oh, that's risky. I don't know. Just weed those people out.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
So something I want all of you to think about is think about people who have believed in you before you have fully believed in yourself. Okay. It could be your parents. It could be a mentor, friends, or a sibling or anything like that. But there are people in your life who, maybe it was a teacher that, really believed in you before you were believed in yourself.
Okay, Shelley, this section I just have to give a shout out to our 6 a.m. club.
Oh,
So
yes.
Shelley and I are part of it's a Zoom Bible study that is 6 a.m. on Thursday mornings, and anyone can be part of it. Any of you can join it. So if you go to youaremore.com, our friend Amy Wienans runs this Bible study. And we have become just this amazing community. We actually call it the AW for Amy Wienans booster shot, faith booster shot. And it is phenomenal. It's been so fun developing these friendships with these other faith-filled women. So if you don't have something like that and you're craving something like that, you need to check out our 6 a.m. club, the Zoom Bible study for sure.
Absolutely. I do have to give a little shout out. I do on Tuesday, Thursday mornings have a 5 a.m. Zoom group too. We call ourselves the Fivers. And it's
Love
for
it.
our health and wellness business, and same type of people, just amazing, motivational, positive. And who would have thought a few years ago that I would have wanted to get up at 5 a.m. to do anything, let alone be chipper and cheerful? But I'm usually in my bathrobe and nobody cares. So
Yeah, and you
it's
have to get up
awesome.
before 5 a.m. to be on the
Right. I get
call
up
at
about
5.
4:30 or 4:45 on those days.
Nice.
So,
Good
yeah.
for you, Shell. Okay, number 8, make room by celebrating small wins. And I think as women, we're terrible at this, right? We
They
accomplish
just go
something.
unnoticed. Yeah.
I know. Well, we accomplish something and we immediately move on to the next thing. Or I also have found if someone like notices it and says something to you like, oh my gosh, that was so great. You're like, oh, it's no big deal. Because we downplay what we do, right? We don't have
Yes.
celebration. We don't acknowledge. We don't have the gratitude. We're just kind of like, okay, what's next? Or this is just what I do, which is fine, but you have to take those compliments for sure. Throughout scripture, God repeatedly calls his people to remember. So remember to celebrate, remember to give thanks, remember to acknowledge what he has done. So, that's one thing. If someone's giving you a compliment, by the grace of God, thank you. It happened. Or like with Shelley and I too, with our book and our devotional, this whole abundantly favored brand, we know it's the Holy Spirit led, and we are definitely giving him credit for that, which is so important because we could not do
sure.
this without him at all. But we can say thank you to people, right?
Yeah.
So something in this section we want you to think about is what is one win you've been overlooking and maybe you need to celebrate. And then how has God been faithful this year? Because we know he has, and he wants us to recognize it and thank him and tell other people, right?
That's right. So true, Jen.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Number 9, make room by releasing the timeline. Okay. This one can especially hit hard in midlife years. So many women, if you're like us, or how we used to be, we're really
Yes.
working on this, right?
Yes.
Many women quietly carry thoughts like this: I'm behind. I should be further along. It's too late for me. I missed my chance. And if you think about it, God's timing rarely looks like our timing, right?
Which
The
can be
truth-
hard.
It
can
can
for a
be
control
hard.
freak.
Right. It can be hard. But the other thing too is to think about is like, there's no need to panic or compare yourself to other people
Yes.
of, oh, they're farther along than me, because God has a special timeline for you and you need to surrender to that. That is the hard part for sure. Right. So if you really think about it, the truth is some of the best things in life happen later than we expected. And if you think about it, Jen, like this whole journey that you and I are on with Abundantly Favored, I know a lot of times some people think, oh, you just wrote a book. That's cute. That's fun. But, and like, oh, that'll die down. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is Jenny and I are on a mission to help as many people realize the truth about who God says they are, and to get them to flip their mindset from, scarcity thinking to abundant thinking. And all of this is biblically based. We are on a mission to speak to as many organizations as we can. We eventually are wanting to hold retreats. I'm going to throw that out there. Look for those for sure in
Yes.
2027.
Yes.
That's what we do. We just throw it out there and then somehow we make it happen. That's what we did with our book.
Thanks, God.
Thank you, God. That's for sure. So, I mean, just some things I want you to think about is think about how, like, something good that could still happen for you. Like, what are some of the desires of your heart? Because those, as long as they're like good and, you know, pure intention and all of that, they're not put there by accident. I believe, and I think Jenny does too, that those are put on your heart by God. And so is there something that you've been like, gosh, I would always wished I would have, or I would have liked to have? What is stopping you? You know, like everything is figure outable, like we've said a
Yes.
million times before. And find a running buddy or somebody to do something with you, or just even fight. Like, Jenny, you're part of a really great networking group too. I wish I had something like that around me, but where you guys are constantly cheering each other on and bouncing off ideas of people's businesses, and
Yeah.
find somebody or a group like that. If you're like, or message us, we will cheer you on for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We will totally cheer you on. We would love that for sure. And then number 10, we want you to make room by asking God to surprise you. Okay. So this is where
Surprise!
everything comes together. Yes. Surprise. So every morning for the next week, we want, oh my gosh, this is weird. We're given another challenge. Okay. I
kinda
think
what
every
we
time we're
do.
given a challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
So the challenge for this week is every morning for the next week, we want you to start with one simple prayer. Simply, God, blow my mind today. We don't want you to say it and then think, you know, make everything easy. Give me exactly what I want, fix every problem. No, we want you to be more focused on, like, help me notice you, God. Open my eyes to the beauty that's all around me, and the things that you're already doing within me, and show me where you're working. You know, use me today. And what I love about this prayer is that it really changes us. You know, it really shifts our focus and it creates anticipation, because really, God, blow my mind, it's biblical, because he said over and over again, like, I will provide more than you ever could ask for. And that's the cool thing too, is when you think about it, when you could have these really big lofty goals, but then God's up there thinking like, girl, that's small change. Like, I've got way bigger plans for you. So, and it just really, you know, starting the day with God blow my mind, it reminds us that God is still moving even when we can't see the whole picture.
That is so true, Jen. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
So,
Yeah.
as we kind of close out today, I really want you to think about this, that maybe God has more in store for you than you've been allowing yourself to imagine. And not because you've earned it, and not because you've figured everything out, and not because you have to do it all on your own, but because he is a God of abundance, right?
Amen.
So this week, let's stop trying to predict every outcome. Let's stop limiting what's possible. Let's stop assuming we've already seen the best God can do. I mean, he's
Yes.
probably laughing up there when we're thinking, well, this is all there is, right?
Yeah. I've
So
already lived
again,
my life.
that's right. It's over. And that's probably not how God talks, right? Like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
yeah. Instead, this is what we want you guys to do. Let's wake up each morning and pray, God, blow my mind. And
Yes.
then let's do this too. Let's stay awake long enough to notice when he does.
Yes,
All right.
I love that. Oh my gosh. You guys, if this episode has inspired you or spoke to you or you liked it, please share it with your friends. It would mean the world to us. Give us a 5-star review, like it, post it on social media to share with others. And keep in mind also, we have this amazing website, abundantlyfavored.com, where you can check out our blog. You can order merch. We have cool stuff like our mug that we've been showing you all the time. Love it. T-shirts, sweatshirts, and just different things that you can get to remember that you are abundantly favored. So kind of like clothing, wrapping yourself in God's love with our merch. And really, we just want you to remember that you are abundantly favored.
Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.